installment of many debate series between Tankus, and my man Hermano. For now, Vinny the Guinea.
Fire and pills and coffee and
Fire,
sugar.
fire and coffee and sugar.
Nicaragua.
Settle down, Beavis. No way! Shut up, asswipe. Yo. But
Oh, what are you boys doing?
But yeah, already off to a great start. But on this very serious political episode of Hank the Tank's show, we will be discussing a very important subject matter for the future of our nation: to vote or not to vote. This is the question. Oh, tell me, dear father, why must I vote at the polling place? I would rather cast myself off of this cliff into the bony breach than to use my brain for even a singular second. And the battle will be decided by the pro bono, I'm sorry, pro vote people, and the those who have sprained their electoral muscle and are not able to attend the polling place or do early voting. People forget, man. Early voting. It's decide a bunch of elections, and it's more free and fair than hanging around in a line where you don't get any water. People forget, man.
The ballots are made of mahogany.
The boats are made of mahogany. The security guards outside are marauders. Rudy Giuliani's are marauders. People forget, man.
APAC are marauders.
Fire and coffee and sugar.
APAC, man, change the game.
Chocolate? Hot cocoa? Lake Titicaca? Yo.
Bunghole. Boing.
I need the rolio for my bangholio. But yes, we will be discussing whether or not we as American citizens, or just in general, if you live in a democracy, citizens, and that includes Russia, very legitimate Russian election. They got me elected. So I know that they're a fair and due process system. But the question is whether it is valuable to vote as a nation, whether we have any influence at all when we vote, and also whether or not we are the ones who decide elections in the first place, or if there are other interests involved that might be from a very specific country in the world. No, the nose knows.
Very in vogue. The nose knows.
Did anybody hear about BlackRock's new stock market? No, tell him, New York Rick. Oh, they're doing a big time, Ariel, and they got me a house and a swimming pool and a hot tub. They're really good, Ariel. The nose. Thank you, New York Rick. Without them, this show wouldn't exist. But yeah, so I know that's going to be the perspective, dude. Foreign interests, Hank. Super global interests that control our everyday existence. But yeah, we're gonna see whether or not you should be pro vote and active in your politics, or if your actions should be within your personal life and your own community, and invested in something more valuable or more impactful on a personal level rather than a political level. And I would be one to say, and just based on what happened tonight, that the vote is the king, baby. The vote will rule this land until the end of time.
Well, here's the real issue. Are our votes actually worth casting? Is the current system for our votes implementing change actually sufficient in getting changes when we want to redress our government?
It's actually very precise and complex, Vinny. I appreciate it, man. But anyway, what should we vote or should we not vote? Should we do anything? Fuck, we're going live.
We're doing the rules.
At BK, have it your way. Your rule. The voters must rule, and no bullet is gonna take me down. Oh, I got shot. Oh,
I do believe, as president of America, I deserve a slice of chicken. Fuck it.
I do deserve that I should get 50% of the country taken away from those damn engines, and then I should kill some motherfuckers in a duel and have my face on the $20 bill. Yee!
Genuine Winchester shotgun. That's what Fox News said.
Yeah, that's what you hear from the Federal Reserve, brother. Yee!
Dude,
The Earth,
government did.
the Earth is a
Government
flat
did.
entity, brother. And I knew because I've walked 500 miles, and I would walk 500 more. But anyway, yes. So this is a very comprehensive issue, Vinny the Guinea. Where do you think we should start?
So it's more important to look at how you said that Mamdani got elected and how our votes matter because Mamdani got elected. Is Mamdani actually being in power going to change anything in particular in our country that we need changed?
Now, I don't know if every single one of his policies is going to affect the entire country, but it is a very important city that he is going to be mayor of. What I think is that when you put people who are truly visionary and revolutionary into power, their ideas and their policies that they come up with for their own cities end up having end up being spread across the country in what I'm going to assume are democratic cities, and that might be a counterpoint. Is that the democratic cities might take up his policies, but the Republican cities would be less likely to. But I would also say to that um, that in Republican states, including what happened in the 2024 election, there all the propositions that were like pro drug, that were pro freedom in terms of social activities and childcare and Medicare. All those propositions, they succeeded in deep red states when the people actually got to voting on them. They chose they in terms of issues. Oh, here comes no Vinny MMA right now. Oh,
Ooh, what
he's
do you
mewing.
mean?
He's mewing for the camera. My favorite.
No, this is just my natural look. Actually, I just do this all the time. I'm covered in yogurt right now, so you can't really tell, but I am.
I got Adderall pumping through my veins. But yeah, so basically what I'm trying to say is that I feel like our people they're the definition of the phrase he's got the spirit, you know. He's got the spirit. It's just the
So,
execution and specific ideals and what and who they want representing them like as a visual that we start to get in some trouble. Especially when it comes to cults of personality, but I do believe that our people are in the mood for a change. You can't dispute that. We always want change.
indeed, but the real question here is this man who has his revolutionary ideas who's put in power, does he truly have the power, or do the people with the weapon to his head have the power, aka big weapons?
That is true. We've noticed this on both sides, Democrat and Republican, that when when Israel needs protection, please help us. We, you know, Biden will be like, "I'm there for you, Jack. Let me tell you something, youngster. I'll be there to help you out. I'll get you the money that you need. You need the money. I'll give you the money." And then once Trump,
Lee.
I'm gonna build a resort on the Gaza Strip. We're gonna build some new properties, right? And I'm gonna go there with little Elon, and we're gonna get a tan, a nice natural orange tan, right? And Netanyahu's, I'm gonna suck his Netanyahu. Can you believe that? That's how that would go. But yes, in terms of military, um, it might be tough, but you got to also keep in mind that this is for a city. This was for a city election, a mayoral election. And Mamdani, unfortunately, doesn't even his background keeps him from actually being able to run for president because he's a naturalized citizen.
Yeah.
He wasn't
Well,
born in the country, so his national aspirations are going to probably be limited to the Senate or the House of Representatives. And in that vein, I absolutely see him being a Bernie Sanders type of I don't want this war. We should not be involved with this. Screw this genocide, And plus, he has the endorsements of AOC and Bernie Sanders, who are both pretty anti-war and willing to criticize Israel. So I'd say that he's in a good camp to
That's
be like
true.
anti big weapons.
That-
But beyond that, another thing to mention is that he has been asked about Israel over and over and over and over and over and over again on his campaign, and just people, oh, are you pro-Israel? Oh my God, would you like suck Netanyahu's dick for $1? Would you, would you defend Israel with your life, Mamdani? Are you just a Palestinian, even though you're not in Palestine whatsoever and have no association with it just because you're a Muslim? Are you pro-terrorist? Are you an anti-Semite? Ah, tell him New York, Rick. Oh yeah, I'm from New York, and I have a problem with Mamdani. He's anti-New York, dude. He would never appear on your show, Ariel. He's too brown. Tell him New York, Rick. And then to edit his beard hair so he looks like he's from Al Qaeda. We'll do, Ariel. But he's been the victim of gotcha questions over and over again. And Mamdani is usually just like, I understand that Israel is a country that has its, religion telling it that it has the right to exist. And I'm not going to say that, I'm not going to stop them in that regard, but I am going to say that in terms of its weapons and its genocide, I'm completely against it. And it's an immoral bunch of war criminals.
Oh, that's cool. I'm glad he's
Yeah.
at least saying that. So, here's the real issue: him being a mayor of New York and having pull like that. Every time that he goes to a city council meeting, he's going to have 1,000 corporations in his ear trying to get him to go this way or that way. Big Weapons is one of those corporations, by the way,
Mhm. Right.
trying to get his vote to be on their side for genocidal activities through lobbying. So here's the problem. There's a Jewish court that it exists internationally. It's called ITSIC, International State Dispute Court. Okay.
Hmm.
This dispute court, for instance, it sued Venezuela when Venezuela said, no, you can't drill off our coastlines because it's destroying the coastlines. They went to ITSIC, the International State Dispute Court, and they said, hey, you're infringing upon our investor rights. We want to sue you for $84 billion, which is
Wow.
4 times your gross domestic profit. And they won. They
Hmm.
said that you're infringing on our rights to basically drill off your country. So that's why, if you notice, there's so many fucking Venezuelan people in our country right now. It's because their country got obliterated and dominated by ExxonMobil and the International State Dispute Court. My reasoning to say this is that investors' rights beat human rights in this country so badly that Mamdani is on the chopping block not only to be shot, sued, or end up in a suicidal situation. This lawsuit is very real. ITSIC is the International State Dispute Court. It operates everywhere in the world, and it's a kangaroo court that protects corporations over human rights.
Right.
How much do our votes really matter, and how much can Mamdani really do when shit like that exists?
I will mention that if you were talking about Latin America and socialist politicians there, a lot of them end up being pro nationalization of resources because they know that their countries are bought out by foreign interests. And so their first priority once they're elected is to keep their resources only, ma- to take over control of their
Unprivatized.
own resources
Yeah, they need to
as
be.
countries, economically and trade wise. And you're right, some of them have gotten capped. I believe there was a leader in Chile who tried to nationalize Chile's economy completely and cut off ties with the U.S. and he got assassinated in a military coup, and Pinochet ended up becoming the dictator of
And he
Chile.
was and
He was
he was put up by the U.S. government and
Yes,
the
he was put up
CIA.
by Richard Nixon.
Yeah, precisely, as a shadow, basically a puppet government. That's
Mhm.
what all elections are, and that's why I don't trust them even inside of our own country. It's just a coup. It's just a rig. It's a coup from the
But I
inside.
will say, just because there's that one example, um, doesn't mean that is the rule. I think that is an exception to the rule because we've noticed that a lot of these socialist politicians, from I think Colombia and I think Chile ended up becoming a democracy later on, but Peru as well. That's a democratic socialist country. those countries have ended up being able to succeed in nationalizing their resources. And once you're able to win that battle, then the rest of it's easy. It's at the point where even Guatemala's developing a democratic um, incumbent government when that was literally the military testing ground of the American government to commit genocide. So
Yeah.
that if that country can end up developing a democracy through a vote, even if it's violently attempted to be violently cracked down on, happened in Brazil too. Let's be real, and I will give Vinny his point that it's gonna be adversity you have to overcome, and sometimes it's dangerous.
Have you
But
heard of like the
sometimes it's also
Sandinistas and or
yes,
the Sandini? Have you heard of the have
yes.
you heard of the Chiquita Banana Wars?
Mm-hmm. That was back in the like 1940s, 1950s, right?
I thought it was actually more recent than that, but
Well, I remember that some farmers for the Chiquita Banana Company were slaughtered and basically massacred because they decided to protest American interests on their soil.
no, they just basically came in and forced them to work, forced them to fucking grow bananas. They took over the land, the banana land, and then the people fought back for their banana property, and
Yeah,
they brought in
this was the socialist of Chile, and
yeah,
then this was the
it
man.
looks like a Jew.
This was the man who took him down and destroyed him.
Nice.
Yeah, it's not nice at all. Pinochet's a bastard. But
Oh no, never mind.
so let me look up socialist governments in because I might be missing something. Latin America.
So, are you pro socialism or?
Okay, so there's Bolivia, Chile. I was right about that. Um, Argentina was socialist for a short period. Oh, Ecuador is still under socialist government, and Cuba, but Cuba's Cuba, so they're sort of their own unique kind of entity. Um,
Well,
there's
did
been
you
an
see the CIA documents that they tried to assassinate Fidel Castro 661 times, just the CIA?
mhm. There's been an upheaval of socialist politics in Latin America as of late, and that's telling me that that's sort of it's a growing movement globally, in my opinion. It's either
Dude,
completely to the left or completely to the right. Centrism is basically dead in this world, in my opinion.
well, yeah, the lukewarm, fence sitting bullshit.
Yeah,
Everybody's
no,
either blue
no,
pilled or red pilled.
and that's either really good or really bad for the countries, and that's why, in my opinion, these races have become more and more important. Is because back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, you could have a Republican president and Dwight D. Eisenhower who wasn't going to absolutely destroy the country and reduce it to ash and kill its economic programs, and you
He
could
was
sort of
a
trust in him because the economic
That's right.
Eisenhower.
Jewish interests, they kept him in power and made sure that he was a Gentile.
No, Eisenhower was a Jew.
oh, was he?
You didn't know that?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, he was a Jew. Look it up. That's why he destroyed a country. It's part of his religion.
No, I see. I see. Well, I'm saying he didn't try to do that because liberalism as an economic system stayed in this country for decades, and the opposing parties knew they couldn't fuck with it if they wanted to keep their places in office. But
Yeah.
now we're in a place where liberalism has become neoliberalism, and the capitalistic interests are first and foremost. And so um, now anyone who keeps up that system is not going to stay in power for very long, and that current leadership are the centrists. And so now it's a matter of and the Republicans, of course, but they pretend, they hide that they're neoliberals. They pretend that they're taking down the institutions, taking down the systems, but they have no, they have concepts of a plan, as their leader puts it. But basically, now it's a matter of alternatives to the current current economic and political system. And if you're part of the neoliberals, you're basically a dead man walking.
Well, you got to remember that these are people that can change their belief systems at the drop of a hat. They can be convinced and swayed either way, and they're not concrete in their beliefs. So really, they're just a canvas waiting to be painted over by a convincing painter, an Austrian painter, perhaps.
Right.
Eaten Hoffen, Hofen, Hyphen.
Anyway,
Exactly.
if,
Veiled art, folks.
so here's the crazy part. I know that everybody in the world has like their own like little niche thing that they believe that they're a part of and they're doing, and it's impactful and it's a part of a community or whatever. But I want you guys to realize there are 2 billion humans that go to a communal meeting place every single Friday. That's like social media away from social media. Where if you wanted to discuss a coup or talk about like overthrowing the current government, you could do it there. And the only people that have this ability are the Muslims because they're the only people that have kept any sort of semblance of principles in their life.
Right.
If you go to a Christian church, they're not talking about fucking how to change the fucking current governmental structure. They're not having pro-Palestine rallies fucking organized and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The only place in the world that there's resistance still truly occurring on an organized level is in Islam, dude.
Very
And
interesting.
you can't find, if you go to a Christian church, they're not going to be talking about an anti-war rally. You never see it.
No. If anything, they're going to be the ones drafting their own followers into the army.
Go die for Israel. What's right? He who honors Israel shall be honored.
Oh, surrender! Hi! Kamikaze! Senpai! Banzai!
Dude,
Yeah, I mean,
man.
And you will shed your blood for the glory of God, because that's Christ's blood. You understand?
Dude, do you know that we just like impose names onto countries too? Do you know that the Germans, they don't even call themselves that? They call themselves Deutschland. And they're the
Oh, really? I
Dutch.
didn't know that.
Yeah, the Europeans call them Germans. And do you know that we call the Japanese, we call Japan, but they call it Nippon?
Yeah, they call it Nippon. Yeah.
Like we just literally just impose all these beliefs and names onto people. We made Shintoism illegal in Japan. Their religion, we made it illegal because of the kamikazeism.
Mm-hmm.
Can you
Right.
believe we went into another country and made their state religion illegal to practice?
Wow.
Isn't that terrorism?
Yeah, a little bit. It's just a smidgen,
After we nuked them?
Yeah, I know.
What?
Crazy.
And
But,
now Iran can't have nukes?
And that was when America was a little bit more merciful towards its fallen enemies. I don't see our country being anywhere near competent enough to rebuild a country and its economy and put them back on the right track. We were able to under FDR and Truman because they were actually able to see the big picture and they had a economic system that actually benefited their citizens, so they knew that having that same same system for citizens outside their own country would benefit them. But now we're just in a place where we view countries as the other, and once we take out their leaders and once we put boots on the ground and take over their soil, mission accomplished. That's what
Yeah, it's insane.
George H.W. Bush said. So
It's
it's just a
insane.
matter of it's all a matter of visual. What's the word for it? It's just like showboating. We did it, to the public, and it's all a stunt. And then once
Yeah.
once they've finished the job, they're just they throw away their toys like it's Andy with fucking Woody throwing him on the ground.
Yeah, exactly. And the issue is that we could fix our economy here. It would just take somebody actually thinking about how to do it. And nobody's thinking about doing that. We're thinking about imperialism and conquest.
See, that's
You know
another
that the-
reason why I consider it very good that Mamdani won, is because his economic plan is revitalizing busing, revitalizing restaurants, freezing people's rents while building housing, which it seems like current day politicians are either building more housing or they're freezing the rent, but they won't do both, which makes no sense. Um, but his approach is more comprehensive, and it's like
well,
all consuming. Like he's
here's
just
our
one of those
here's
politicians who wants to have a framework for everything, which is very much a good thing.
well the big issue is for his framework of everything, he's got to realize there already is a framework for everything in this country called the Constitution.
Yes,
Do you know what the second article of the Constitution is?
it's freedom to bear arms, right?
No.
Oh wait, oh no. There's it's Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. That's the Bill of Rights. God Almighty. All right, you can debate over. Vinny wins. I think I'm just gonna I think I'm going to jump out a window. Um, sorry, guys.
It's
4 years
okay,
of
dude.
college.
Nobody knows.
4 years of college for nothing, dude.
It's obfuscated for a reason, dude. Don't worry. Nobody knows this. So the second article of the U.S. Constitution is foreign policy.
Mm-hmm.
What you were talking about, that imperialism, is
Mm-hmm.
encoded into our
Totally.
Constitution through foreign aid and imperialism, U.S. policy. It's essentially made so the overarching, premise, the crux of our country, is to invade other countries to support this false, never really growing economy that we have here that really just supports the 461 military bases that we have in other people's soil all over the
Good to
world.
see you, by the way, Master Science. Welcome to the Hank Tank Army once again, brother. This guy keeps getting his leg blown off, and then he keeps enlisting. I really don't know what's wrong with him. He should retire and just get his VA benefits already, the motherfucker. But Lopez versus Silva, that is on the docket for UFC Noche, which is, of course, is not taking place in Mexico because it never takes place in Mexico somehow. We love Mexico. Look at our Mexicans over here. Great country, but we're not going there because they're bringing
It's a
drugs.
law.
They're bringing crime. They're rapists, and some of them are in fact good people. But it's
Don't you remember? I put that wall up. We can't go to Mexico. It's
it's
impassable.
it's a rat's nest. It's a real rat's nest, Mexico, and has nothing to do with the U.S. involvement whatsoever. We're out of it. We're a blameless victim. Everybody, can you believe that? Like
Yo,
the stream, by the
Master,
way, Master Science, so we can get some more of your beautiful faces in here. But
can we talk about the rodeo, this fucking clown show that is the UFC booking not Evloev for a shot again? Can we just talk about the absolute Islam hatred inside the UFC?
yeah,
It's
they
real.
only like the Nurmagomedov strand of Dagestanis. They hate all the other ones.
Well, because they're so proven, you know what I mean? Habib to never take damage is insane like that, dude.
Yeah, I
He
mean,
ate a head kick from Barbosa and was like, whatever, fuck you. You're getting beat up, dude.
in my opinion, I think they're actually shooting themselves in the foot by not giving Evloev the title shot right now, because I mean, if they didn't want him to be champion, because
They're
a
afraid.
lot of people have said like, dude, Volk is a tough matchup for Evloev, dude. Like anti-grappling, really fast hands. Like he's got a good shot against Evloev, but of course the UFC is going to wait until he's retired, and they're going to, give Evloev, this scary prospect on the block, Aaron Pico, which by the way, Bellator prospects are like what, fucking 0-3 in the UFC in their debuts. These dudes literally, as soon as they step into a UFC arena, they're like,
Dude, I'm saying, could you imagine if you saw, what if it was Aaron Pico versus Evloev, dude? What the fuck?
yeah, and then they're frozen like Elsa.
Dude, that
Like
would have been a death in a cage.
fucking Patchy Mix looked like he'd never fought a fight in his life. So
Dude,
Evloev's gonna beat Aaron Pico because as soon as these Bellator fighters, if you're not MVP, enter a UFC stage, they fucking wilt. Like they never fought a fight in their lives.
what is MVP? Ian Gary level? After all those fights, is Ian Gary level, dude? No. MVP has pissed me off.
I mean, you're pissed because he beat your one-eyed Cyclops, your one-eyed ginger Cyclops.
No, I actually picked against Shara in that fight.
Based.
I said that I said MVP has the best in and out movement in the game, and that you need depth perception. With one eye, you don't have depth
Oh yeah,
perception.
dude, I mean MVP would be just a fucking blur to that
Yeah,
one-eyed monster.
dude, MVP was an actual nightmare matchup for him. I said, dude, you need two eyes for somebody that's going in and out. Do you know why you have red lights in the back of a car?
So that people in front of you could know where you are spatially.
Yeah, because whenever you're going like this, it's very hard to tell exactly how far the object is away. That's why the red lights
They
are
need
there.
the red lights for spatial awareness.
Precisely. Like if I'm punching you and I throw a jab that's straight forward and I have no telegraph movement, it's very hard for you to move and get out of the way because the jab's just moving straight forward like that.
Also, both Vinny and I have earned the nickname the One-Eyed Monster for certain things about us. Once it's the nighttime, so hey, no proof, but We got a reputation.
With two eyes, it's extremely difficult to judge depth perception. That's why they have those red lights on a car. With Shara only having one eye, dude, it's just a nightmare for him to fight MVP.
MVP is still dope. I picked MVP against Shara. I wish MVP was a bit more active at 185. Well, I mean, you're in luck, Matua, because he's going to fight freaking Jared Cannonier next. And apparently, the UFC basically pulled on Cannonier's arm and wrenched it back and made him scream "Uncle" and fight MVP, or they were going to fucking cut him. Is what I heard.
No way. Why wouldn't he want to fight MVP? It's a good matchup.
I think it's because he's beaten so many prospects. He feels like he's like the Dan Ige of middleweight. That he wants an actual contender because he's getting up there in age. But the UFC are like, no, you take the fights we offer you.
Oh, he's about to get
That
cut.
would be awesome.
I think that his if he didn't beat Rodriguez, he would have been cut.
Yeah, they
I
don't
think
like him. They don't like how old he is, dude. But he's gonna be like the middleweight Glover Teixeira, man.
no, dude. They don't like that he got his title shot and he shit the bed.
That's true. He looked pretty damn awful.
I don't like that either. I'm pissed at him. You should have fucking beat Izzy. What is wrong with you?
Oh, really? That's what's up. Jared versus Cannon is cool. Yeah, it's Jared Cannonier versus himself, his demons as he was fighting. Oh, MVP versus Cannon. Yeah, that's gonna be a fun one. I just feel like, dude, like Cannonier's just a tough matchup for anybody. Like, especially when he's a contender. Like, unless you're Imovov's skill level and you're super quick and like just have and can't get grappled, like I feel like Cannonier's just gonna take MVP down at will. And just
Yeah, I'm
beat him
saying
up.
you have to be a Muslim to beat Cannonier.
Yeah.
Dude. Did you see what he did with Whitaker? That was so impressive with a broken arm, dude. That was wild.
Yeah. And Bobby Knuckles is fucking awesome. I think he's gonna beat RDR. I do think so.
Yeah, too fat, too much, too early. RDR is really good, but he should not be taking on Robert Whitaker in a fight that Whitaker's got to
Yeah.
prove something in.
I don't
Whitaker,
think Robert's gonna lose to every single janky, crazy, freaking tard fighter at middleweight. I think there's going to be there's a limit to how loosey goosey and failing successfully will do for you.
because I've seen Robert Whitaker defend every one of Yoel Romero's takedowns, and Yoel is an athletic beast. You know, he's doing backflips and splits and shit, dude. That's an athletic monster, and he was just literally shucking his takedowns off left and right. Beautiful takedown.
What's crazy to me is that whenever Yoel is like a contender, like or in like low stakes environment, he's a fucking killer. And then once he gets a title fight, it's like,
I drink the cervezas. You know, he fucking gets drunk and parties.
yeah, exactly. And all of a sudden, he doesn't know how to fight anymore.
Dude, if you notice, dude, that's what keeps the Muslims fucking on top, dude. We don't fucking have the big fall off. Before this stream, I was in Abu Khairi Al Khair. You know him?
Huh?
You know Abu Khairi Al Khair, the streamer?
I have not heard of him.
Oh, he's Matua. Everybody was just in there before here, dude.
Hey, look who we got in here. It's Big Onk MMA.
Ankh was just in there. Hey, Ankh, can you tag Abu Khairi Al Khair's page? He doesn't know who he is, dude. I didn't know you didn't know.
We need to send Vinny and Big Onk to Dagestan for 4 months and forget.
Yeah, right,
We'll
dude.
become champion. I promise, brother. Smish, brother. Dude,
Yeah.
get my girl over, Hank.
He's based, bro. He's a
Yeah.
Muslim. He looks like a Muslim Mark Hunt. I called him Mark Houthi earlier.
Muslim Hunt. Nice.
Muslim Hunt. Yeah, dude. That's a good one. Nice, man.
Yeah.
Quick on the draw, dude. You're like fucking Speedy Gonzalez over there, bro. Those fucking riffs.
Thank you.
Carry a revolver.
Yeah, exactly. My brain. Silva versus Lopez will be a brawl. Looks like Yair versus Volk will happen. I mean, it's obvious. It's been booked, and it's honestly probably one of the worst booked fights in UFC history.
What if Yair head kick KO's Volk though? He's susceptible to him.
He did, and people forget, man. Yair Rodriguez was a marauder, and he threw that leg made out of mahogany at Volkanovski's head, and he did catch him. He caught him flush on the side of the head, and Volk was like, "Okay," and then immediately Volk, and then he just took him down.
Yeah, people don't give People don't give Islam the credit for cracking Volk's noggin like that. He cracked the coconut for everybody else.
But I just don't think if Lopez can't put him out over 5 rounds, there's no chance, dude. I mean, I think Volk's chin is back. I seriously do. Because if you can survive 25 minutes with Diego, you can survive fucking anybody. Except for Ilya, but he's like, it's for Volk's legacy that I went up to lightweight. I don't want to hurt him.
Well, dude, I think that Ilya is a little bit too smart for Charles.
Oh yeah, I have him by first round knockout.
Really, you got it that quick?
Mm-hmm. Dude, Charles is just gonna be like, and then
I think he gets.
Get up into his position like this.
He's gonna pull guard every time he gets dropped.
And then Ilya's just gonna be like, all right, I'll hop right in. That'll be it.
Matua said Kyrie's been in the stream before. What?
Yeah, he's somewhere, man. He's training and fucking putting up a sweat and showing his exercise on stream. I do, and then I like to watch Hank,
Dude, I watched this retarded MMA streamer. I think he has like something wrong with him, but he sits in his bed all day, strapped to the bed, doing pull-ups and shit, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It's so fun. He got recommended to me in No Chill's Discord, dude. It is the most autistic channel I've maybe ever seen, dude. Oh my god, I gotta share it with you.
Fish and chips, cheeseburger.
Cake.
Stop. Yair always has that KO chance. Volchin been getting worse. I mean, it got better, like miraculously got better against Lopez. So I don't think there's a definitive quality of his chin right now.
Don't say miraculously got better. What did Volk say in the lead up, dude? He said he quit alcohol.
Yeah, I quit alcohol, mate. And people forget, man. I was a featherweight champion, and then I took Islam 5 rounds, dude. I was the champion. Yeah, sure, Volk. Yeah, sure. No, I mean it, mate. Dude, I was a fighter, mate.
But Daddy, what if it's Islam Makhachev? Old man Volk.
Oh, that was the best thing in the world, dude. Dude, I prayed for him after that, dude. I needed that Dude, Paulo Costa with the perfect comedic timing, dude, just coming in, right?
Oh, why you not have a laugh?
Oh my god, man. Kyrie's a real one? Yeah, he is. He actually shows himself training as an MMA fighter. If Charles strikes the way he did against Ilya, I'm with Hank. Taporia can torch Charles in round 1. I sincerely think so. Because, dude, I mean, it took Islam, like a couple rounds, and he's not always, like, the biggest finisher, and he was just able to get around that guard so easily. Dude, Ilya's a genius. He's a fucking genius of putting together combinations to keep your guard loose. Like, Charles gives him the loose guard for free. So...
Well, I think that Ilya is not going to get the finish until like 4th round. I'm sorry. I think that Islam Makhachev has about 60 IQ points on Ilya. So that 2nd round finish like that, we're probably not going to see that really again on Charles.
I think so. I think we will, dude.
Nah, dude.
I think that Charles at the start of every fight. Like, and even Chandler was able to crack him. I didn't think he was going to crack Charles once, and he ended up doing it in round 4.
Well, did you see every fight that Charles has been in? He's been cracked bad. The Gaethje fight, he got dropped 4 fucking times. He got dropped by Poirier. He got dropped by everybody he fought, including Chandler in the first fight.
Yeah.
I believe that Charles Oliveira has brain damage, and that's why he's going to lose to Ilya. I think that on the ground, Ilya and Charles have just the equal amount of chance of finishing each other.
Mm-hmm.
I think standing, Ilya does have the advantage against Charles, but Charles has the grit in the fact that if he gets dropped, he's now in a comfortable position, so he's not scared to get dropped. He'll get in there and trade him, you know what I'm saying, to throw him, and he's bigger, so he's going to believe that he has more power this time.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as even. I don't think that it's as cut and dry as Ilya is going to kill the guy. I think it's going to be.
I think Charles Oliveira is able to get a head kick on Ilya early. Who knows what the fuck's going to happen?
Ilya's
then we got to fight. If he can't do that, I think he's toast.
If you look how Charles started the fight with Islam, he kept spamming those big head kicks. If he does that to Ilya's main fucking problem is head kicks.
Yes.
I don't think that Jai Herbert is even 1/10 of the fighter of Charles, you know?
Fucking praying, dude. I'm fucking praying that happens.
I want to see Ilya get fucking. I want to see him get embarrassed. I'm not gonna lie, kinda,
Yes.
just this much, and I don't feel that way about many people.
Dude, I want to see Ilya cry, dude. I want to see him shed tears, like he's
Why?
he's Conor McGregor with a broken ankle, just crashing out with Joe Rogan interviewing him. In the future, I'm undefeated, Charles, and it was a fluke. It was a fluke, and I'm the best, and I love Spain, even though I'm Georgian.
Dude, so? All right, do you think Ilya is a bad guy? Then you're not on his
I
side.
I think he puts on an act a lot of the time. I think he pretends to be Mr. Macho, Mr. Ego, and like I'm the best, and I think he does believe he's the best. But I hit the parts about him like demeaning his opponents and being like, "Oh yeah, keep that belt ready for when I move up." I think he's just putting it on. I think the moment he knocks out Charles, I think he's going to be like, "Dude, Charles Oliveira is a fucking legend. I'm so happy I got to share the cage with him in this moment. Charles, you're the best. Don't let anybody take it away." I think he's going to be super nice on the mic after he beats him.
That's a perfect prediction of what I'm thinking too. Because the issue is that we got to remember Ilya ducked Movsar in his own division, and I believe wholeheartedly if he fought Islam, it would be an early night for Islam.
I don't
Head
think
kick
so.
KO.
I don't think so.
Islam has the greatest head kick KO in UFC history, and Ilya has a very glaring weakness to head kick
But
KOs.
but who was that head kick on?
So here's the thing: Islam Makhachev did the head kick, the greatest head kick KO in all of UFC history, on the pound for pound number one to solidify the spot as pound for pound number one. And Ilya got head kick KO dropped by Jai Herbert, who wasn't even ranked.
Does the number one pound for pound fighter in the world look good on a few days' notice?
Yeah, we've seen it. Islam Makhachev,
No,
he's taking short notice
Alexander
fights.
Volkanovski.
Well, Alexander Volkanovski
I
had.
guarantee you, dude, that if he had 3 months of preparation against Islam for a rematch, he would not have gotten head kicked.
I guarantee you, if Islam Makhachev just was able to rehydrate the way that he normally does in his first fight, it wouldn't have even been close to.
I mean, why wouldn't he throw out a head kick then?
Who,
That's
Islam?
always there. Why didn't he throw it?
In the first fight? Because he was not feeling himself. I know that whenever you because I wrestled in school. I wrestled 205 and heavyweight, even though I only weighed 205. But when you're cutting, dude, and you try to wrestle, I remember when I cut down to 185 because I couldn't beat the guy at 205 to take the spot in varsity.
Mm-hmm.
So I moved down to 185 because I could take that spot. And I was fucking fasting from a sauna with no water in my body. And the dude, he did a head throw on me. And a head throw shouldn't knock you out. But just because my head hit the ground in the head throw, like when we rolled, I went unconscious and I woke up bench pressing the guy off of me. Whenever you're cutting, it severely cripples your ability to fight. And if you're even a little bit dehydrated, it makes it way harder to fucking stay in the game.
That's true. But I think Islam also had a close fight with Dustin Poirier, and I think he was in shape for that.
No way. You think that was a close fight?
I think it was. I think he didn't win the rounds definitively enough to the point that he let the judges make it close.
We should watch that fight together.
He should be, subbing him within 3 like Khabib did.
Well, that's what I was trying to tell you before. Remember, I said that all of the fights in that card before Islam were trash, and Islam had to step up and save the card with a fun performance for the crowd. If me and you go through exchange by exchange in that Poirier fight, I guarantee you'll agree by the end of it that, oh my God, Islam was toying with Poirier, letting Poirier have moments.
You don't toy bleeding from your forehead, dude.
Well, that's the thing. He let Poirier have moments for it to be a fight. You know what I mean? He gave the crowd a fight of the night, even though he could have.
Yeah, but I mean, don't you think you'd take that same approach to Money Moicano? And like,
I know, but here's the thing. If me and you go, it wasn't the same thing on the Moicano card. With the Islam card, it was a very dead card until that fight.
mm-hmm.
I can bet you money if me and you go through the exchanges in that fight, you will see the same thing I do, that Islam literally walked up to Poirier, threw 3 punches right in Poirier's face and got into the clinch and did whatever he wanted from the clinch, let him go, set.
Yeah. Charles is susceptible to getting hit and getting hurt and getting dropped. He is. Charles better diversifies kick placement and volume, kick Ilya's hands, wrists, and arms constantly. That's actually a really good approach. Eventually, one of them will connect. Yeah, kick him in the balls.
Kick him in the shins. I ain't got no shins. I
Yeah.
killed 50 men. I ain't
Yeah.
kill.
Put your toe in his eye.
Put your toe in his eye.
I think Charles can win the standing clinch positions. Yeah, I mean he could definitely like land some knees to the body. Can you imagine it just goes like fucking RDR versus Bo Nickel? Ow, my tummy.
Well, I think that Ilya doesn't have a. I think Ilya might be susceptible to body shots, dude. His torso doesn't look super strong,
Well,
dude.
it
Like
looks
his
sort of
belly.
flabby. Got to be honest.
I think you could put a fat kick. Dude, Charles has some nasty body kicks.
And
He doesn't set him up with the shit.
You know that Ilya likes to sample his wine before fights, right?
Retarded. That's why I don't, dude. I fucking hate Ilya for talking like that. What a retard.
Yeah. I think Charles can win the standing clinch. Islam ain't got the best head kick pound for pound, not even close, says Matua.
Whoa, wait. So the best head kick in UFC history wasn't the pound for pound number one against the pound for pound number two to solidify the pound for pound number one ranking? That
Probably
was,
Leon Edwards. Let's be honest.
but Leon Edwards and Usman weren't pound for pound one and pound for
No,
pound two.
I mean Usman was pound for pound number one.
But dude, it wasn't one versus two. We've never seen that. That's
Yeah,
the
but, I mean, doesn't that make
highest.
it even more incredible that it was someone lower that got it with a couple minutes remaining on the clock?
Nah, that's the two highest. That's the highest stake fight inside the UFC that's possible. The two highest skilled fighters, pound for pound one and pound for
It's
pound
on
two.
a week's notice though. It's
But
on
he put it away
yeah,
decisively.
a couple days notice, dude. You can't say, "Oh, it's the greatest of all time." One of them wasn't even ready.
Dude, the way he put that away so decisively, that's what you're supposed to do there. He did it. He proved that he
Yeah, it
deserved
looks
the shot.
visually beautiful, but it's in if you take it in context, it's not as impressive. That's just a fact.
Has Islam finished 8 out of his 9 last fights?
By sub,
He's had no head kick KO too, but he's had fucking. Has he not had exciting finish after exciting finish, even from Drew Dober up to now?
it's true. It's true.
I mean, dude, he's doing it right. Did Volkanovski
I
have
wouldn't say
any
all of them.
exciting?
I wouldn't say all of them are incredibly entertaining if he takes them down and subs them most of the time. But the head kick was definitely impressive.
Well, I mean, did you see Volkanovski on the come up? He didn't have fucking bang. His fights didn't look decisive at all. Not
Yeah,
like
and he ended up winning the fans' love anyway, which is amazing. I
I don't know. A
understand
lot of people don't like Islam.
I understand your criteria, Vinny. I get what you're saying, and I thought you meant just best head kick KO overall.
No, man, there's been cleaner ones, but just with the stakes there, damn, the stakes are insane. And he pulled that off anyway.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. But again, if Volk was prepared, I'd agree with you. But unfortunately, he was not.
I want to see Volk Islam 3.
I'd love to see it too. But
All day.
unfortunately, Dana refuses to have Ilya and Islam fight each other. He wants them both as champion for some fucking reason, so he can, I guess, get more pay-per-view headliners. So he intentionally kept them apart because Islam actually wanted to defend against Ilya, and Dana shut him down. Which is, I gotta believe that, like, Dana's like a sleeper cell agent for boxing at this point.
Well,
He's gotta hate his own company, dude.
don't expect that on this one, because here's the issue. We as fans don't get to see what the UFC, aka the owners of the UFC PI, get to see. So at the UFC, for instance, the UFC managers all know what goes down in the gyms. They get to see who gets the best of who. They know, yo, this guy's going to kill this guy if they fight before it fucking happens. And 99% of the time, it's the case, you know?
Yeah.
Dana White is not feeding Ilya to Islam because he knows that Islam would take Ilya's lunch money all day long. Islam throws around 225ers in the gym. Ilya doesn't do anything close to that.
I don't know, man. I think with that Volk Islam super fight going how it did, I don't think Dana would think that. Also, I think Dana's too stupid to even see that.
Well,
I think he just
gets
like
reports
badass.
from-
Dude, he booked Jones versus Stipe. He doesn't give a shit about like what's the best fight. He don't give a shit.
No,
He's
no.
interested
Well,
in the stock of his fighters and the stock of his fighters alone.
they need non-Muslim champions and like fucking pound for pound contenders like that. So they're not going to get rid of Ilya with Islam. You know what I'm saying? There's
I mean,
major.
if he loses to Islam, he can always just go back and win the featherweight title again, right?
Not with his. Uh, he have his legacy tarnished. He gets that loss. He's not undefeated anymore. It's not the people's champ now. You know.
Yeah, but I mean, one of them was going to lose their legacy either way. And you
I
know,
think
I'm
the
right on that.
UFC.
You know, I'm right on that. Islam would have
But
lost his legacy, and Ilya would have lost his.
I think the UFC has insider knowledge as to why they wouldn't make the fight. I think they know Islam would take his lunch money, dude. I think for real.
I don't know. Because Barboza owns the best head kick KO, head kick overall. Gotta agree.
Barboza,
One time we've seen in the UFC a
Benny
dude
Barboza,
completely turn into a mannequin after he got head kicked.
Benny, right? I know you're talking about what's his name? What's the guy's name?
Was it Vic?
No, man. It's a Spanish guy, white-looking Spanish guy with a very odd name that you'll never hear again.
Paul Harris?
Nah, dude.
Uh,
No, something Terry, dude.
oh, Terry Edom, right?
Terry Edom, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm too tired for it, dude.
Dude, but they should have just like grabbed his body after he fell to the canvas and just put him up at like a local Macy's, you know?
They should have just mummified him right then and there, dude.
Put the obelisks over his eyes and seal him in the crypt.
You are never allowed to come back from the Shadow Realm.
Funniest visual ever was just the referee being like, "Oh, whoa, what am I holding in my hands right now?"
The Monster Mash.
It was a head kick smash. We smoked a lot of hash.
I'm about
They
to do
did the
that.
monster mash. Edson Barbosa was down on the mat, waving his hand to his neck. He knew he was cracked. He pointed to the sky, thinking God was there, but all he did was stare. I getcha. Hank, hey, student of knowledge, my Muslim brother. Yeah, my relationship with Isha these days is sort of rocky, but the time that I made him laugh the most was when oh God, what happened? I think, oh man, what happened? It was some guy who, trying to think who the opponent was going to be. Oh, yeah. Bilal Hassan of Fury FC.
Yeah,
He's some like young up and coming prospect,
Muslim.
but he has the name Bilal, and
Yeah.
so people would call him the real Bilal, like Drickus being like the real African champion, and so I was thinking of a situation where like Bilal pulls an Izzy and just walks up to him in the cage, just like my Muslim brother.
You know
Let's go. Let's go.
the real Bilal was black. You know that?
Yeah, I made him fucking keel over laughing with that one.
Yeah.
How's it going, student of knowledge? Yeah, there he is.
The real Bilal is black. You know that?
Way ahead of you, Matua. I beat you to the punch this time. Plus 10 points to me for beating you to the punch. Plus 10.
You know? Do you know what Isha is?
What
You know what Isha is?
is
Isha?
Isha Fushizamaniza?
Nah, Isha is the final prayer that Muslims do. It's the last prayer at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's weird that that's his name and he's not even a Muslim.
I had my final prayer for him in December, and I didn't look back.
Good for
Damn,
you.
Hank.
Dude, you told me about that Idaho video, and I tried watching it, dude, for your sake because I care for you. He's so fucking boring. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Idaho is Vinny's energy kryptonite, basically. He looks like a glowing green rock to Vinny.
Yeah, dude,
Damn,
exactly.
Hank and Masvidal collab goes crazy. So, what are you doing there, Curious George Masvidal? Dude, we shared the same apartment, but dude, you were pissing the bed on the top bunk every single time, Curious George.
Gotta have a good sucker punch, a good 50-yard dash. American values.
Dude, I'm gonna give Hanky a 3-piece with a soda, but it's not gonna be in the cage. It's gonna be outside the arena after I'm done pissing and sulking and being sad.
Whatever, Curious George. Dude,
Curious George, look like a fucking lizard.
dude, I saw you doing wrestling training with John Jones, dude. He was touching you in places you didn't know you had. Hank and Ragnar and Lod Brock. What the fuck is that?
Ragnar.
I now I'm just imagining Vinny as freaking Thor and Thor Ragnarok being like, "I'm a god. You can do nothing." Anyway,
The reason I get laid.
Idaho's dope. The state, definitely. Lots of potatoes.
The state of the fucking thing. Dude, what's more boring, Idaho or the state?
At least I can have some good potatoes to eat in Idaho, you know.
Facts.
And also, their No Kings protest had more people than Trump's military parade, so they're sort of based.
Oh,
They're
really?
based, though.
That's pretty cool. You keep up with that.
Yeah. Idaho, they should be called Idaho to everybody. No Kings, can you believe that? True Democratic hero.
Idaho, he's not our Boise.
Not Idaho is Pete Hegseth. Pete Keg Breath. That's what we call
Pete
him.
Keg Breath.
That's right. Wanted to have shotgun. Wanted to sit next to me, and now it can't even look me in the eyes, like a little
Well-
child who knows he's done something wrong.
More like defeat Hegseth. What do you think about that one?
Give me some of that mango.
Dude, this one's called Cadillac Stomper, dude. It smells like grapefruit. It's so good.
Yes, the newest fragrant from Buffalo Vinny. Bro looks like he just came back after killing Zeus. He looks like Zeus after he's just finished off his last child, you know.
Sucking the fucking like final child. How do I know that, dude? You know,
Because
Zeus did that to all of his
It's
children.
such a fucked up story that you can't go through your life without hearing it once. But what the fuck are you talking about?
Zeus
And then retaining
sucked
that for just like the rest of your life. It's so
You
fucked
sucked the lifeblood from your own kids? What
Dude,
did I get?
The paintings are some of the scariest shit I've ever fucking seen. Of
It's
him literally
crazy.
like grabbing at his baby's belly and just like he's fucking Lord of Voldemort dissipating, you know.
And this is the religion that created heathenism and Saturnalia, paganism.
It's no surprise. But oh god, here it comes. Might have to cut this thing short, folks. He's about to crash out on me. He's gonna put his fist through the screen. But let's get back to the matter at hand. While we have some new people, we pledged to talk about voting as our main subject. But how to frame it now? So I think a lot of people have the impression that because they live in a certain state, because they live in a certain province, because they live in a certain city, that their vote just does not matter. But I think we're seeing more and more with these special elections and these key races happening in red states that your vote still does matter if you're passionate enough and you mount a good enough campaign.
All right.
Like I said, red states have voted on propositions that would otherwise be thought of as left-leaning progressive, and so they have enough brain power to vote on good ideas once they're like literally served right in front of them. It's just whether or not they can vote out the people who have stayed as leaders in their states for decades, like Susan Collins of Maine. But I will say, the mayor of Omaha, who was a Republican, governor, mayor for 25 some odd years, just got beat by a Democrat this year, and it's because of how rotten this fucking regime in the White House has been as of late. And so, what I would say is that whether your vote matters or not depends on how passionate your movement is against the current administration, and that depends. So, certain years where it's like people are not motivated to save our democracy, your vote might not matter that much. But in races where the country is falling apart and institutions are being threatened, if you can have enough people on your side, you can pretty much do fucking anything, is my opinion.
So where I would make the counterpoint there is the axiom that it doesn't matter who you vote for. At the end of the day, the federal government wins every election. So
Right.
you don't have the ceiling of power basically stops at the federal level. So just because we can win at the state level, like we're seeing, doesn't mean that we're actually going to be able to fight back against the actual movers and shakers and commanders of the
Brian knows
military.
what I'm. Tua knows what I'm talking about. He just heard the news. Let's fucking go, dude. Islam taking over politics. Let's go, homie.
Allahu Akbar.
Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar!
Allahu Akbar. That's how you say that.
I know, but I'm doing an impression of someone who just fired a bazooka in the Middle East. Allah Akbar! No wonder Kratos fucking body. Yeah, because Kratos is basically, oh god, what's his name?
What the
From
fuck?
like what like isn't it called like Dateline or something? It's like the pedo catching to catch a predator. Chris Wallace. Yeah.
Student of knowledge, are you a Salafia? Are you a Salafi?
Predator host. Chris Hansen. Chris Hansen. Kratos was the Chris Hansen of God of War. Sit down with me, Zeus. Here, have some lemonade. Oh, thank you, thank you. So, why are you here? why are you here ruling Olympus? Well, I was texting a girl, and I said I wanted to come over and maybe we can have some hot chocolate, and some cookies. And I go up to the pearly gates, and I'm like, I see you here, and I think, man, a three-way sounds pretty good. Now listen, I likes you, and I wants you. Now we can do this the easy way, or we can do it the hard way. And then Kratos. Oh, it looks like I was the one who got penetrated. Hank, will you get drafted to fight Iranians? I think Vinny asked me the same question an hour or two ago. And I'm sorry, dude. I just don't hang out outside the local Walmart. So not a chance. I'm fleeing to Canada.
Hank, who's more oppressed? The ran through American women or the Iranian women?
Iran through American women or Iranian women?
Yeah, the ran through American girls or the Iranian women?
Wait, what's that first thing? I'm not hearing it.
Ran through American women or Iranian women?
At least you get to wear a different color when you go outside. If you're an American woman, if you're in Iran, black is your new favorite color. We got to bring in the blacks into Iran. The ladies would love them.
Yeah, but what's going to be worse for the person overall? Getting like sold on OnlyFans? Do you know that the women that were going on like podcasts saying they were making millions of dollars from OnlyFans were getting paid by the owners of OnlyFans to say that shit, and they never were making that much money?
Wow.
Could you imagine if your daughter or mom got duped into doing OnlyFans just to find out that you can't even get a single sub unless you get the same kind of push as YouTube or whatever, that it's all like a rigged algorithm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I use Honey. Honey helps me with the promo code, so I can buy anything I want to on Amazon. Jimmy!
Wasn't that like the biggest scam in YouTube history, Honey?
I don't know. It's just Mr. Beast promoted it, so it's automatically suspicious. And I created this whole video using Honey. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit.
Yeah, Penguin Z0 did a whole expose on Honey and how it's the biggest scam in YouTube history.
Well, there you go. So, I mean, guys, the moral of the story is don't trust any advertisements. Duh.
Yeah, do you know why they give you advertisements?
So that YouTube can get paid.
You think that, right? But in reality, because the advertisers are ran by the same people that control all of our consumer goods, which is like BlackRock, they can control 80% of consumer goods. It hurts them if you continuously buy the exact same product over and over again and you don't try different products. So the reason that they give you advertisements is so you can never decide and make up your mind. Do you know the Latin word for decapitate?
Is it ad? Is it ad?
No, it's decidere, which means it means to cut off, to decapitate. That's the Latin word for it, decidere. But the point is that if you choose, you decide on just one option, you cut off all the other options.
Right.
So the point of giving us advertisements constantly like that is to make sure that we never pick the same thing. We never make up our mind. We're constantly indecisive. We're constantly not choosing the same thing over and over again. We're picking other shit.
Stuck in limbo, basically.
Yeah.
Knowledge is a buffet molester.
He looks. I mean, judging by that uh, that label, I think he seems like more like Buffy the Vampire Slayer instead of the buffet molester. But yeah, I mean, it's like he watched too much American Pie. He just couldn't help but stick his ding dong in everything he found. In the local lunchroom.
Stifler. Stiff.
Dinner. How does Vinny know what the fuck a salafi is?
Hmm? Bitch, I'm Muslim.
Yeah, my Muslim brother. You didn't catch that, student of knowledge?
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa wallah. Sorry, my mouth is full. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, akhi. Jesus Christ. Kayfa halaki. Well, fucking dude, I've been Muslim for like 12 years. I only preach Islam. Haven't you watched any of my shit? I've been fighting all of these assholes in the MMA community on behalf of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Muslims.
Me, Vinny, King's World, and Hamoud are all going to respond to Israel's attack just single-handedly.
You got to put one hand up, though.
Yeah, brown pride, brown pride, everybody.
We're not brown. Hell fucking no. We have brains.
Look at my brown American over here.
Oh, dude, he is Salafi, dude. I already know.
Was good, my bro. Hey, speaking of brown pride, we got Trace in here. How's it
Speaking
going, man? But by the way, that's another thing to talk about, Vinny. What do you think about this supposed ceasefire from that Donald Trump has enacted, in which there were missiles fired, uh, right after he said it? But now it appears that both sides are confirming it. Do you think it lasts at all?
So, A, it hurts us as a species to talk about Israel, America, Trump, Netanyahu as separate entities. They are not. Indeed,
Big
they are
weapons,
a
big
single
weapons.
entity known as big weapons. So we should say big weapons has announced a ceasefire. Do you believe big weapons wants a ceasefire? They don't make money from that.
Yeah.
The big thing that we need to look at here, it's not whether or not we're going to have a ceasefire. It's how long until they try to drag us into World War III for their own profits, because they make so much money out of the oil consumption and all of the weapons being used off,
Yeah. Something tells me that Trump is just afraid of all the sleeper cell agents that Iran has brought to life in America now that he's gotten involved, and he's Taco. He's the Trump Taco, and I love tacos. It's the one thing I like about Mexico. Everybody, the beef chalupas with my Big
Well,
Mac, and we like that. I like the Mick Chalupa that they had at one point, the Mick Taco, and then they got rid of it, and I'm very sad.
if somebody in chat could, on my behalf, there's an email open for the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. If you could please email them and let them know that indiscriminately bombing Israel is actually their tactic. We shouldn't be doing that. We need to be sending in strike teams to every person that's ever been guilty of war profiteering. So every person that's making money off of war right now, if you simply just send in strike teams and end them, you end all of the wars.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Just pull what Anonymous is doing, except with weapons, big weapons. Some might say the biggest weapons.
Damn,
Nadia
send that
thinks I
nigga.
have the biggest weapon.
Send that nigga to net. Yeah. Hey, student of knowledge, go. Have you seen me do miracles on people's streams? I did a fucking actually broken physics doing Moses parted the seas. I've done the same thing on a smaller scale on camera live for fucking this community. You go to my page, I have hundreds of videos doing the shit.
Vinny would absolutely body Netanyahu and beat him up so bad that he'd actually punch his receding hairline back right onto his forehead. He'd punch some testosterone into him. Vinny, give me your mode of murder if Netanyahu was right in front of you.
Brazilian necktie.
Yeah, pull a Vince Morales. Oh my God, he's got a Peruvian necktie. Whoa!
Dude, I'd go up to him and I'd be like, I'd pull out the force, dude. I'd fucking start fucking Luke. I am your father. Start fucking choking him from the inside out.
Oh, wait, let me think of the right Disney princess I would put for this. Oh, oh boy, Netanyahu just put in the money for our new Tarzan live remake. Gotta make sure that we send him some money. Oh, what are you
No,
doing?
dude, what about this, dude? What about this?
See,
You know, like how
basically,
Giuliano is a trust fund baby?
you're basically Vinny Salamanca. I'm gonna give him a Brazilian necktie. He called my mother biznatch. You don't just let that walk. And
Dude,
you never depend on the people you love.
Teddy Atlas.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude,
Make sure that they know who you're working for.
you know what?
Are you calling him stupid? You think that I'm stupid? Heisenberg says, relax. Okay, I'm relaxed. I'm like, damn, man, look at that, look.
Dude, you know who I want to see do an impression?
Mm-hmm.
Giuliano do an impression of Mickey Mouse. You know why?
Why?
Oh, my dad gave me a trust fund. I spent my whole life on Mickey mode. No wonder I have nothing interesting to say. I've never had any challenges.
Oh, hold on. Gee, Uncle Scrooge, it's Christmas. Oh, could you give me a little bit more for my trust fund?
Oh, don't you be screwing around with my money, Mickey Bucko.
Oh, but Scrooge, little Timmy, little Gilly, he's emaciated. He's anorexic. Oh,
More gruel, please, sir.
I'm gonna have to skin alive the family dog Pluto for Christmas dinner, boy.
Wars, fellers. Thanks for watching.
Oh,
Flora.
I'm a ghost of Christmas past, Scrooge. Oh, have I ever introduced you to Max?
Dad, you're embarrassing me.
Oh,
Lord, Max.
you're gonna have to be a trust fund baby just like old Gilly. Fuck the Iranian regime. They killed people in Syria and Iraq just because of them
Oil.
being a specific
Oil.
denomination. Well, they're all fucking monsters, student of knowledge. All the fucking governments in the Middle East are the most evil fucking regimes on the planet. And I don't give a shit if one of them's pro-democracy. You know, they all fucking stink in my book, so just let them fucking kill each other.
Wait, do you know that there's like you know that the only Jewish community, like the biggest community in the world that's outside of Israel, is inside of Iran, and that the Jews that live there say that we feel safer here than in America. That's why we choose to live here. I can show you video clips.
Wow.
Iran is it's a very safe and inclusive place to live.
Yeah, well, when you're not getting, bombarded with nukes and, have your body evaporated from the inside out, it's a really nice place to live.
But like I dated when I was 15, right? I was a sophomore in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I was dating a Persian girl, Iranian, named Maharani, who was 19. She was a freshman in college.
Maharani Zamdani.
Yeah, dude, she was so fucking pretty. The sexiest girl, sexiest everything, dude. I think she's a porn star now, dude. I swear to God.
Oh, nice.
But
I mean, she's right up your alley.
she was Muslim, right? But Iranian Muslim, and Iranian Muslim means that she's super secular. Like basically.
Oh wait, we're supposed to pretend that we're beefing right now. I don't give a shit about your story, Vinny.
Yeah, fuck you, dude.
Yeah, how dare you show up in my chat just out of nowhere, start talking shit about my Jewish faith? Freaking, I'm not.
Why'd you say pretend, dude?
Until you're all gone, man. Until my holy land is finally freed.
Fuck, dude. Fuck, bro.
Anyway, continue. The fake beef has fizzled out. We burnt the steak. we overcooked it.
We could. Yeah, I know, dude. We could have probably played it up and got the whole community to believe it, but
yeah. But unfortunately, we're too good at people, and we're not. When the teacher gives us a spoonful of peanut butter, we reject it.
Yeah, right, dude. But dude, my point of the story is that Iranian girls are extremely progressive. Iranian people, like every Iranian person I met, is more American than I am. They're partying, drinking. I sold shrooms to this Iranian.
Now, I know that you want to gouge your eyes out when you see them drinking anything, but you tolerate them regardless.
Well, I mean, the Quran says that if God basically says that if humans didn't sin, he would wipe us out for something that did. It's really just, do you feel bad about it or not? If they don't feel bad about it, then I would,
Right.
But if you feel bad about the sin and you intend to change, whatever. But There's an Iranian girl that I
Pull a,
sell
pull a,
mushrooms.
pull a Pete Hegseth and just have the flask with, and nobody knows what's in it. You know? Oh, it's water. Yeah, it's water.
Right, dude. I started selling mushrooms to this Iranian guy, and then I met a girl through it, right, who's also Iranian, and she's a doctor who drinks alcohol, goes to clubs, buys shrooms.
Based.
Iranian people are more fucking progressive and Western than any fucking Western people that I know for the most part,
They've also
dude.
got the prettiest eyes in the world, and that's a fact.
That Persian girl I was dating, if I show you pictures, dude, you would melt. She's the finest bitch I ever looked at, dude.
She's the finest piece of meat I ever slaughtered.
The finest goat I ever put in my curry.
And damn, that's a nice looking ass. Iranians or Shias like the worst denomination of Islam.
No, that's not true. That's
Uh-oh.
retarded, dude.
Oh,
So
time for another holy war.
no, dude, the Shia people are totally fine, dude. Whatever. I can prove that Shiaism was created by a Jew named Abu Mikhlif, but the point is that the Shia holds sacred the family of Prophet Muhammad and the teachings of his family. The Sunnis don't give any value to like the grandson or the great grandson of Prophet Muhammad. Like if you ask any Shia if you ask any Sunni about Muhammad Baqir, for instance, a student of knowledge, can you tell me about what's your favorite book from Muhammad Baqir or what's your favorite instance from his life?
You're pulling the card of that kid in that one short that's like, have you read 5 books? Give me the name of 5 books right now. How many books? Give me 5 books you've read right now.
Mate can't even count to 5. 10. Ha.
They can't even count to 5. Dance for me, Nathan. Dance for me, Nathan. And don't look at me when you dance.
That's so good, dude.
Dude, I love that same kid that was like, how many books have you read? He showed up at a video game awards show when a fucking, great, fantastic, like, game from Japan won best game of the year. The kid, like, literally, like, waited in line behind them,
Yeah.
the seats, and then just was there during their what's the word for it? Like, award-winning. What do they even call that? Like, there's the Oscar speech. Like, what do you call a speech where you won an award?
Your
Reception speech.
acceptance speech.
Acceptance speech, yes. So he stood right behind them during their acceptance speech, and then afterwards he's like, "And I want to say a special thank to you to my homeboy Bill Clinton. Keep on doing the good work, Bill."
Bill Clinton.
Bill
That's so
Clinton.
funny.
Why do dark-skinned men make fun of light-skinned men when it's dark-skinned men out here creating light-skinned men? What?
Because
So if you put it's like it's like the table where of like dominant and recessive traits, where like you put 2 dark skinned people together, and then what the kid has the recessive trait, and it's Michael Jackson.
dude, did you know that I thought this whole time Michael Jackson just got like a weird surgery to be white and he's just a weirdo?
Mm.
Did you know that's a disease that he was born with?
No, you legit got it. There's white skin on his hand. That's why he put a glove on it.
Yeah, I didn't know that, dude. They totally demonized Michael, dude. They made him seem like such a bad. I would never hurt a child. Never. I'm a pure-hearted man.
Come to Neverland with me. Climb the tree. Climb the tree. Have you
Dude.
been up my wishing tree? It's where I like to come and dream. And once you've been up my wishing tree, Shamona, you can laugh and giggle and scream. Hee hee. No imagination. We can be spacemen, pirates on the sea. We can do everything. I mean everything. Shamona, up in my wishing tree. Hee hee. Oh.
That's so funny, dude. Shamona.
Let's see. Student of knowledge, get your ass on stream. I posted the link, so
No way, dude. He actually comes on stream?
yes, he does.
No way. So he is a black person that went to jail, right? And found Islam there.
Yes, he's
Right.
he's a born again Muslim. Can you believe that? Hank, let student of knowledge. I will. Student of knowledge show off.
I'm counting on you, student of knowledge. The link does not work, brother. Oh, that's such an excuse. Come on. All right, there it is again.
Do you care if I take a dab on stream?
You already did, right?
I didn't do it yet.
I mean, it's the last couple minutes. You can do it, and then I want to hear your concluding statement about elections and how not important they are, and then your entire like summary of your argument while you're high.
Well, I can make the summary right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a well, you know, we'll do it as a concluding argument then, so it'll actually be like a wrap up.
There he is. There he is.
Yo, what's good, Hank?
How's it going, Hamoud? My boy Hamoud.
How are you, my friend? How are you on this fine evening?
I'm doing great, dude. Fucking Mamdani won the election. Democracy is saved, and my Muslim brother did it, bro.
What's good, Zeus?
Assalamu alaikum.
Kratos is coming for that ass.
Salam, bro. Yo,
Yo,
bro. Your takes on denominations are funny as hell, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if Hank likes discussing religion on his stream, but
If
if
I
you want to
didn't
get into a more extensive debate,
stream, then Vinny would be gone. I would have started Vinny the Guinea.
yeah, I'm pure religious, but finish.
yeah, I was saying that basically, bro, you can't just fucking praise the Shia denomination like that. I mean, sure, when it comes to the Ahlul Bayt and all of that stuff, which you were mentioning, first of all, bro, Sunni Islam doesn't, disrespect them in any way. And if you want to talk about disrespect, bro, have you seen what Shia say about the companions and stuff?
Oh yeah, and you could beat a Shia any day in a debate, which makes me just think that they're misled people. They're just born into that religion, you know what I'm saying? And you can always usually talk them out of it with just sound logic and articulation. But the point is that they are making a division in the Ummah. And Rasulullah and Allah basically said over and over again explicitly, don't allow for division in the Ummah. Don't make it yourself and don't
Man, I'm
allow for
so glad that you and Hamoud have just resolved your differences and talk peace and harmony right now. That's great. I'm
I,
right now. I caused the peace, everybody. I did a ceasefire while I wasn't around.
the peacemaking
Everything's
president.
okay. All right. Anyway, go on.
no, I wouldn't say we had any differences. I mean, we were just chatting basically, and yeah, man. I mean, life is good, bro. John Jones is retired, man. Life is good.
That
Wait,
is true.
so, Hamoud, which country are you from, bro?
I'm from Kuwait, my friend.
Okay, all right. I thought you might be a Salafi convert. My bad, man. So you're
I'm
born
in
Muslim?
a ham mood.
Are you a born Muslim? Do you practice?
Yeah, of course, I'm born Muslim, man.
Can you tell me what is the meaning of israf?
The what?
The meaning of israf.
Israf?
Ooh, fraud
Yeah.
check. Here comes.
It means, yeah, it means spending without necessity, or wasting without necessity, I guess.
Extravagance. There we go. You're like the first Muslim I've found that knows that. So,
I would have given the same answer, because I've converted. So
Hank, I believe
Yeah,
that
bro. Hank,
I believe the Saudi government, which
yeah,
is
continue.
actually the Saudis are a Jewish family. I believe very firmly that they've implemented this corrupted version of Islam. It's an Israf and Riyah Islam. It's not the true version. I
I
think that
called him on. I called him on the
I mean,
weekend. He's right.
we, we don't have caliphates or anything like the old times, of course. I mean, shit's crazy. Fucking Turkey al Sheikh fucking balling out these days. So Hank is like our local imam and stuff in Kuwait. So
yeah,
basically,
right.
well, what can I say?
Hank would be the imam. The point is that if you look in the Quran, it bans extravagance like 40 something times. And Rasulullah is asked, who are the worst of my ummah by Lady Fatima, alayhi salam. And he said, the people who eat whatever they want and they dress from a variety of clothes, talking vainly and pompously. He's talking about the people of Israf. It bans Israf over and over again in the Quran to the point that I would have to realize that the Saudi government has been attacking our religion from the inside out. Do you know what Riyah is? Shirk Riyah? Hamoud.
He's dead.
I'm having something connection issues. Can you guys hear me all right?
We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you. Do you know what shirk riyah is?
1 second.
After these words,
Shukriya. I mean, I guess yeah. When you perform something that's meant to be for Allah, but you perform it for people, basically. I mean, if
You,
that's what you mean.
you do an act of worship for other than Allah, right? For others' sake.
Yeah,
So when you see these
yeah.
sheikhs, like these TV sheikhs, put their hands up in the air and say, "May Allah bless Palestine. May Allah do this. May Allah give us more broccoli. This and that." If they make the dua in their heart, Allah hears it. So for them to externalize this dua, and it's not a dua Rasulullah ever made, not only is it shirk riyah, it's also bid'ah and it's also idle talk. It's haram 3 ways. And all of our major sheikhs teach this form of Islam. Am I wrong?
What sheikhs do you follow? Do you follow Ibn Uthaymeen and those guys, or not at all?
Well, Ibn Uthaymeen was I'm not going to call him a sultanate dog because he wasn't as bad as Bin Baz, but he was a sultanate dog.
Sultan dog. Come on. What has he said? What has he said that classifies him as that, bro?
He pushed this very same agenda that I'm here warning you against today. Him, Bin
No,
Baz,
no,
all of the
you can't. Yeah, bro. But at that time, before the whole before MBS took over, there was no such thing as scholars of the Sultan, bro. That shit is like a modern thing. And I dare you to bring me one fatwa off of Ibn Uthaymeen where he's like giving us something or a fatwa on something that pleases the Sultan, bro. I mean, he was a pretty staunch Muslim. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, you can't really call him
Well, here's the
a
thing.
scholar of the Sultan.
So you have to remember that this staunch version of Islam that me and Hank were trying to talk about this earlier, Islam is actually about having a unification and understanding, and it's about coming to a religious justification. It's not about this staunch medieval understanding of rules. Salafi Islam, which is what the Sultanate pushes, which is what Ibn Uthaymeen helped set the foundations and guidelines for, is actually that same version of Islam that I was telling you about that is government implanted and is designed to ruin our ummah and give us a bad reputation globally. Since Islam has never forced anything on anybody and it's not staunch anything, there's no compulsion in Islam.
I love
There's a
Matua's
difference.
idea of you
Yeah.
being a mom wearing a kufi. I think of myself as like the MMA community's Lawrence of Arabia. You know, I'm the white man here to save you, dude. I'm the last samurai, brother. Yee!
Lawrence of Tank Arabia.
Yeah, starring Tom Cruise and Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson.
as the last white hope.
So what were you saying, Hamoud? Sorry, dude.
Yeah, what I was saying was, well, there's a difference between, something being like a creed that comes out from a specific sultan. And when you talk about Salafi Islam, bro, it's the only reason the term Salafi
Dark Age.
was created was to segregate people from people like Sufis, bro. And I hope you're not a Sufi because that would be terrible, right?
What, dude? I'm
And
Muslim, bro. What are you talking about?
they're Muslim. Gladly, bro. I mean, yeah, of course they're a Muslim, but they're denominations, and just like Christianity.
Secret. He's in the closet with it. Okay. So.
Yeah, I am a Sufi, bro. I am Sufi. I'm Naqshbandiya to Awaliya.
Really, you're a Sufi?
Well,
Yeah.
it was nice having you here on the live stream, Hamoud. But we're gonna have to. You're gonna have to take an exit. You're gonna have to stand next to a nearby window so I can push you out of it.
Yeah, we can't be anti-Sufi, not here. We are Sufi on this channel.
Yes, I am.
All right.
Sufi.
I'll see you later, though, Hank. All right.
No.
Yo, Vinny,
He's kidding. He's kidding.
do you have a Discord?
No, he's kidding,
Yeah,
bro.
what?
He's kidding. So, Salahuddin
Yeah.
Ayyubi, the guy who ended the Crusades, was a Sufi. Do you know that Imam al-Ghazali was a Sufi?
No, he wasn't, bro.
Sufi.
This propaganda is crazy, yo. Yo, who's teaching you this stuff, Vinny, bro?
You know that
I'm telling you, we're the scholar that.
brother. Wait. When Salahuddin first took over, he was given power of Egypt by Norazin Zinki. The first thing that Salahuddin did with his power was create a Sufi, non-Sufi interfaith center. Do you know that? Look it up.
I'll need the
Salahuddin
source
is-
for that.
Yeah, just look it up. Salahuddin is a known Sufi. Just type in his very extensive Sufism. So was Nuruddin Zinki. Do you know that Imam Al Ghazali also a Sufi, and he talked about it openly? Ibn Arabi also a Sufi. They talked about it openly, bro. Every person who was a
Mate,
mover and shaker inside of our deen was a Sufi.
all
I would
right.
like to think.
The first of all,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah. So first of all, Ibn Arabi, bro. Honestly, I know Hank does. I'm not sure if Hank debates religion, but I could get your Discord, man, because Ibn Arabi, the stuff Ibn Arabi said was so heretical, bro. Like that guy's like the biggest heretic
He
known.
was a
Like, bro,
Sufi.
people like
We're the mystic Muslims. I mean, I would be considered a heretic too. You know, I'm about to consume hashish. I'm about to do that right now. Just like the hash smoking assassins that ended the Crusades, they were all Sufis too. The movers and shakers
I
do
mean,
things
bro,
that are heretical. Do you know that there's a hadith
using
that
that
says that
logic.
people meant to sin?
As an atheist,
No, I mean
disagree with you on
most
everything.
scholars were
I
not.
won't say anything.
Yeah, most scholars were not Sufis, bro. I mean, Al-Zahabi was not Sufi. He has the biggest historical autobiography. He was not
Wait,
a Sufi.
so
Neither was Ibn Taymiyyah.
Was Sheikh
Neither
al
was Ibn
Islam
Qayyim.
was Sheikh al Islam a
Right?
Sufi? Ibn Taymiyyah. By the
Which
way,
Shaykh
for
al-Islam?
I know. The fucking sorry, the Shafi'i Shaykh of Islam, but for everybody in chat, Sufism is mystic Islam. You guys see how I'm like able to move things with my brain? That's not moving things with my brain. It's called a miracle.
It's called No Chills Discord.
Do you guys know like the people who like fly on magic carpets and stuff? Those are the Sufis, okay? Those are the people in Islam that do things like end the crusades. He has a problem with those people. Just so you know.
Basically, Hank. Basically, they're con artists, bro. What can I tell you, bro?
Wait, so
Oh my
was Ibn
God.
Taymiyyah a con
A
artist?
human group is a bunch of con artists.
Ibn Taymiyyah was not a Sufi, bro. Don't try
Ibn
that.
Taymiyyah
That's
was an
classical
open
Sufi.
Sufi. He was an open Sufi,
Bro, he
brother.
condemned Sufis, bro. He condemned
No, he
Sufis.
condemned
Bro,
certain
wallahi, bro.
sects. He condemned certain sects of Sufism, but he was a Sufi, brother.
I think the last.
There's a difference between tasawwuf, which is a specific type, right? A specific type of what do you call it?
No, it's
A
Sufism.
specific yeah.
Rasulullah was a
No,
Sufi.
Sufism. The, the
Rasulullah
one
was a
I'm
Sufi.
talking about. Yeah, but there are distinctions in tasawwuf, bro. Come on, bro. You should know this. I mean, if you're
Yeah,
talking about Ibn Taymiyyah, bro, you should know this. It's like talking about Thomas Aquinas and not knowing his writings properly, bro. You can't just you know uh,
no,
wrap the
so
two things together, bro.
there's heretical Sufism, but then
Batua
there's
asked
just pure
if
tasawwuf, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Batua asked if the Hawaiians can be Sufi. I don't know if they can be Sufi, but I think they could definitely be surfy. You know, if they hang out on the waves.
Surfi, that's funny.
You know, and I also wanted to mention Batua is the fucking MVP of this live chat, and he also mentions the last N exclamation point dollar sign at sign. I don't know what that could mean, by the way. I need glasses or something because I'm not picking up. On Earth, starring Tom Hanks. I think that's I think they retitled that. They retitled Castaway that in like Compton, California. You know, for that movie with Tom Hanks. You know, Wilson. He was a
Uh,
Crip instead of a Blood, and they took Wilson out. You know.
Hamoud, when
Yo,
Ibn
Vinny,
Taymiyyah,
you have Discord.
I deleted the app. But
Yeah.
so when
Mm.
Ibn Taymiyyah stood in front of the Mongol, the Mongol leader, and when he converted to Islam, and everybody had thought that Ibn Taymiyyah was going to get his head chopped off for the way that he was speaking to the Mongol leader. And when his own students, like Ibn al-Qayyim, would ask why you were able to speak so ballsy to the Mongol leader, Ibn Taymiyyah would say, because my farasa would let me know that I could say it without being killed. His spiritual visual acuity, like Allah becoming the eyes in what you see, that's a Sufi gift that other religions don't talk about, other part of our religions don't talk about. It's a uniquely Sufi thing. Ibn Taymiyyah was a follower of Sufism, 100%.
I want to interject and
This
mention
quote,
that
this quote that you brought up of Ibn Taymiyyah, right? This quote that you brought up. What's the sanad? What's the chain of narration? What's the source you got this from?
So it's Ibn al-Qayyim's autobiography, well, biography of Ibn Taymiyyah. Have you read it?
He's the seerah he wrote on Ibn Taymiyyah.
By Ibn al-Qayyim.
I want to
So
also mention the only carpet that I've seen ridden in my life was when Benil Dariush rode Gamrot's ass like a cowboy on card a
That
couple.
was the best scramble I've ever seen in UFC history.
They'll do the same thing to Money Moicano this Saturday night.
But so Hamoud, did you get why I said it like that? It's Ibn al-Qayyim.
5 more minutes of this discussion, and then we got to have our concluding arguments.
We can wrap it up, yeah. But Ibn al-Qayyim is the chain of narration, and he's absolutely 100% trustworthy.
Yeah, but there are many narrations, bro. You have to understand, bro. Like, how long have you been Muslim? You said
12 years, and I'm an Islamic scholar. So
12 seconds ago.
Islamic scholar is crazy, bro. When you, I won't say anything, bro, because I know Hank is not someone who's very fond of, at least to my knowledge, political and religious debates on his stream. So if you have Discord, bro, hit me up. If you don't, well,
hey, wait, how is Islamic scholar crazy when we've been having this discussion and I've only been a Muslim for 12 years, you've been for like 30, and to be honest, I'm running intellectual circles around you. I'm bringing up points that you've never even thought of in your life.
Bro, you don't. All right, bro. First of all, I'm not even 30. Bro. I'm like,
you commit shirk riyah openly. I called you out on it as soon as it started. You put your hands up and you type on Facebook, may God do this, may Allah do that. You commit shirk riyah openly. You don't even know what worship for other than sake of Allah is. That's why I brought it up to you, brother.
Come on. Look, can't we all get along,
guys? Come on, bro. Please, bro. You don't have this.
You're a scholar's crazy.
You're not. Bro, he's calling himself a scholar, right? Hank, he's not willing to debate, right? He's talking about religion on another mainstream, right? And he thinks he's like,
Vinny is not the student.
Come on.
What did I do wrong?
Student of knowledge like you, trust, you know.
So brother, Rasulullah said that the scholars of my ummah are higher than the prophets of Bani Israel. The reason that I can do miracles is because I am a scholar of Islam, meaning I outrank prophets of Bani Israel who could do miracles like part the seas, like Moses. If you ask chat, hey, can Vinny do miracles? They've all seen me do it on live.
He also
I'm a scholar.
He pulled off a miracle. He healed,
so you do miracles,
the Tsar of Russia's son, Alexei, back in the early 1900s when he was devastatingly ill, and Rasputin came and he healed his son while nobody was around.
I'm influencing the Russian Tsar now. I'm Rasputin.
Lover of the Russian queen. What can I say?
But bro, I'm a scholar of the Deen, bro. I studied under Yasser Qadi. Have you ever read The Sealed Nectar?
Yasser Qadi, bro, is like one of the wastemen, bro. Wastemen of the fucking West, bro. How can you follow Yasser Qadi, bro? It's like following evangelicals, bro. It doesn't make sense.
I know these are just generic insults and you have no ideas of your own. You're just a brown that was born into this religion. I'm actually mastering it. You should learn from me instead of talking.
I'm actually I'm an honorary brown in some communities.
Honorary Jew. We're not letting this Jew go to the gas chambers. He's with me.
Don't talk about my boys, dog. And if you got a problem with that, you can pass the blunt to the brother on your left.
Pass the blunt, battery.
I mean, Vinny, Hamoud, come on. Come on. Let's have some ginger ale and snacks. Used to be Vinny and Hamoud didn't get along. Now they're all happy and singing this song. La la la, Vin and Ham. La la la, Muslim man. La la la, friendly thug. Boom, 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 boom.
Yo, what happened to No Till, bro?
I took him out. I took him out with the drone. I did it on day 1.
Hellfire missile straight from an Apache helicopter. Stood no chance.
That's true. And then Giuliano, he laid the hammer down. Everybody, can you believe that? And the truth is that I use Vinny and Nocha like they're prostitutes on the local corner, like they're homeless people, and I'm John Jones.
Julie Law Liano.
Yeah.
Giuliano.
Yeah.
Laying down the hammer.
God, how can I not think of any puns for Giuliano right now?
Giuliano.
Molignano.
Well, you can't. Dude, you know that my Italians call his Italians Molignans? My people call his people fucking Africans because he's from Sicily. We don't even consider them Italian.
Yikes.
I know.
Good.
The one who's trying to hide
Yo,
his
Hank,
nice.
That was fast.
No, that was pretty good.
That Iranian
You
internet
got me there. You
connection.
got me there. Well, I mean,
Mossad got him.
let,
Dude, did you hear him say
I
that to me?
got one. Cool Italian, bro.
Cool Italian, bro.
Yeah. Or I mean, let me think about it. Oh God, I'm not ending the stream until I come up with a good pun for Giuliano.
Oh, Julie Paisano. What do we think about that one?
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Julie Paisano. Hey, Julie Stugats, huh? Fucking,
And the no. Oh, wait, no. Jesus Christ, my brain. No verb chill brats. MMA.
no verb chill. Oh, yeah, no verb chill.
Brats.
Rats. That's funny.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fuck you, dude.
It's my little
I'm not
cousin.
giving you the $7,000. You're gonna have to give it to me, or we're gonna have to share it together. You know, fly out here, dude.
So Giuliano's not paying that money. That's the thing.
Yeah, but nobody knows who's correct on who actually won the contest between them. I hear different accounts.
I heard it's 0 to 5 from all accounts.
Wow.
Clean sweep. Because I remember
Well,
during
I
the
think
whole
I got
thing.
a dip. If Vinny has Discord, let me know. I need to intellectually dunk on him. Yeah, just
Why didn't
I'll feed Vinny to the wolves, and then he'll have a spat for 5 hours, and then he'll absolutely skull you.
Did you notice how all of his
I'm running
rebuttals?
circles around you. And dude, if you try to crack Vinny's iron chin, in the Discord on Facecam, the dude's got Marvin Vittori, Nate Diaz type shit, dude. He's gonna wreck your world, dude. And
But did you see how all of his rebuttals to what
instead
I
of
was saying?
Vinny having a girl over, he's gonna have you over. Okay. So.
Bend you over my knee, boy. But
Yeet.
dude, all of my rebuttals were like, I was giving like exact instances and like real rebuttals, and all of his were like just generic opinions with nothing to back it up. It's like,
Yeah.
well, that's not the way that works. Everyone who thinks that's an idiot. It's like, dude, just give some examples.
Vinny saw his intellectual opponent in the forest, and he said, "He's got a pretty mouth."
Just a young Padawan.
But then Student of Knowledge was the protagonist, and he shot Vinny, and he fell off a cliff. I got to be fair,
Wait, you think so?
Yeah, in his heart.
Oh, because I mean, he didn't make even one single counterpoint to anything I said at any time.
I hate it when mom and dad fight. Okay, you trigger my PTSD, so I just can't have this, mom and dad. All right. Anyway, let's have our final points, and then we will escape the war zone. I mean, do you want to go first or me?
Yeah. So if I'll go first.
Mm-hmm.
In closing, voting cannot count because no matter who you vote for, the federal government wins every election.
I think
you can't get power past the states. It's going to get shut down at the federal level.
I do think that California has the ability to pull its funding from the federal government because they contribute hundreds and millions of dollars to the U.S. economy every single year. They're basically the backbone of our nation's diet and a big part of their central bank. And if they cut funding, then we'll see who has the real power, the federal government or the states. It's just whether or not the politicians are going to have the balls and the stones to do it. And I think if we elect the right leaders, they just might have the balls and the stones to do it. But also, I will say that in terms of federal funding for departments, yeah, we're fucking boned. You don't know if you got a fucking tornado right on your fucking doorstep because FEMA doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And how do you know that Palantir isn't using your information to now come after you and your family for trying to fight back against the system?
But there have also been instances of state leaders running for office and then schooling the Fed government Nepo trust fund babies and, steering the country in different directions. So, we've had a lot of state leaders end up in office. I think it's always going to, as long as you're the opposition party when the economy isn't great in the people's eyes, they're just like, whatever, he's the alternative. And then you're in office, and then you're like, I will make sure that you bought your pocketbook. It's gonna be fatter and price of eggs. Okay, he's in office.
They're eating the pets, hide the eggs.
I'm gonna reduce the price of having illegals in this country. And
reduce the price.
Yeah, Hank, I'm scared of his Sufi miracles. He's gonna make me fly to the moon. Wait, I'll tell you what. I'm sure that Vinny can do a mean Frank Sinatra. So you better be careful.
Well, that's facts, dude.
Yeah.
That's literally facts.
Yeah, if he just cut his locks of hair and shaved himself, he could be in that Four Shades of Blue fucking Frank Sinatra 1957 album.
Yeah. So could No Chill, except he'd be in the Brat Pack.
Yeah, he would be in the Brat Pack.
Hey, student, you got to be careful, bro.
He'd be the Gambino on the front line that gets shot up at the nightclub.
You'd be the Gimp Beano. Hey,
Yeah,
student,
and
you
then
got to be, you
I'm
got to,
just imagining Vinny like in that Pulp Fiction scene. Looks like the spider's caught himself a couple of flies. Bring out the chill.
bring out the channel.
Yo, I'm gonna fucking suck your dick.
Oh, my face is frozen in carbonite. That's why I talk like this.
Dude, I'm gonna fucking treat you like a Jeff Molina. Get over here, bitch.
Hey, student, but Allah is the hands in which I strike. It's why I can do miracles. That's what that is. In Allah, Hadith Qudsi, where Allah is the hands in which you strike, the eyes in which you see, the ears in which you hear. For also, like Ibn Taymiyyah was talking about, the eyes in which you strike, or the eyes in which you see, that's like being able to see the future and being able to see outcomes, truth, dishonesty, things like that, advantage, disadvantage. Fakhruddin al-Razi wrote an entire book on it called Kitab al-Farasa. But the point is that you can have Allah become the hands in which you strike. It says it in Hadith Qudsi. It's very plain. You can actually perform miracles. And for you to talk shit about somebody that can perform miracles, I'm just letting you know you're going to war with Allah. Don't be a dumbass. I know you're brown, but don't be a dumbass.
And the hands with which I strike are getting very weak and feeble and developing carpal tunnel syndrome right now from how much I'm expending my energy. It's going right to my hands. I'm getting calluses, Babula. Oh my god! Is it possible to get bunions on your hands?
Bunions on you, get felt the fish.
Bunions on my locks when I'm
My
having my
locks.
bagels. Oh my god! I think my cream cheese is giving me a rash.
My cream cheese.
My cream cheese, and
Chives.
my girlfriend, she just creams all over me, and I'm saying I'm eating my bagel right now, sweetie, not now.
So if you got somebody in office that was threatening the hegemonic establishment that the government has over us, this chokehold that they have, this occupation, and you were genuinely threatening their ability to rule us, don't you think that they would just use Palantir to take you and your family out, or threaten to take you and your family out and turn you into a puppet?
That's always the risk, but it's the risk that you have to take. And as I don't know who said it, but I ascribe to the belief they can't kill all of us, and they can't kill any of you